potentially has a higher skill ceiling than Vanir does. And look at that, we're into champ select. I'm super hyped. I just want to see this game get underway.
I'm ready for it completely. Just one of the predictions at the start of the day. I was the only one who predicted that Vanir were going to be able to nab a win here. We'll have to see if they can do it.
Yeah, the Varus ban is really interesting. Okay, this might be too spicy for competitive, right? But AP Varus top lane is a meta thing. And Kitano plays a bunch of random stuff.
You've been looking at Kerberos's Twitter, haven't you?
Honestly, I've seen it in solo queue too, and it bodied me, right? But Kitano plays a bunch of wacky stuff, right? He played Kled in his first week. So I could see that maybe that's a target ban, but I haven't scouted Kitano's OPG, so I'm not too sure. Immediately, I'm looking at the OPs that are left open, and it's still stuff like Yuumi, Vi, LeBlanc thankfully gets taken off the table. Cassante and Nico is the last one that really strikes to me as OP that's left open right now.
Yeah, but Zeri still on the board
too. How did I
as well. Eragon, and it's sort of how this meta has developed as more things have risen to the fore. You see less priority on stuff like the AD carries in terms of this ban phase. Aphelios still looking very, very strong as well. And Nico, kind of just Nico. So we're going to have all the AD carries bar that Varus on the board for Nord. Do they first pick the Zeri?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think Hido could obviously pilot the Zeri. He's just ranked 17 on the solo queue ladder. That guy's an absolute mechanical monster. Potentially maybe wants to go for something more lane dominant. I think he's played a lot of Lucian recently. Yesterday played some Xayah. It does seem like he just plays absolutely everything meta, so I wouldn't be surprised. Good call out, middle cart. It is the Zeri. I wonder if we'll see a handshake with just the Aphelios standard. You know, maybe Aphelios Cassante, something like this. Or Lulu.
Yeah, I think Vanir could opt to take the Lulu here because you really don't want to be giving away Zeri Lulu, right? I can't remember which team it was yesterday, but they gave away the Zeri and they played this really cool combo. I think it was unique, actually. They had like a Vi with an Orianna, so you'd have a shockwave delivery system into the backline, and it looked great for 20 minutes, but then the Zeri got a little bit too much HP, and that doesn't one-shot anymore, so
yeah, it was unique, by the way. Yeah, it was unique. Your memory serves you right. The only thing is with the blind pick Lulu is you're then susceptible to stuff like the Blitzcrank. But regardless, the Vi picked up another meta thing, and we're just seeing we speculated Cassante plus Aphelios. This serves a very similar purpose with Cassante into Zeri being very good, and then you also have the front line to create space for your Aphelios. Does look like we're setting up for another front to back composition where tanks are very important here, so I definitely want to see Cassante picked up.
Yeah, and for PPBat on the Vi, I want to see more stuff in the early game from him. I think he's been one of the slower junglers. I think Indecision also, you could lay that accusation at. And when you've got Aphelios in the bottom lane, you've got a little bit more of that setup, as well as a lane that you want to play towards and a carry that you want to get fed.
Yeah, no, absolutely. The problem is when it comes to Zeri, Aphelios lanes, often nothing happens. Although now something might happen. You might see the Nautilus into the Rakan because that's just a very good matchup. On top of that, you have a lot of individual target CC layering between the Vi and the Nautilus. I'd like to see that out from the side of Vanir. But yeah, Rakan plus Zeri, very good bot lane. Rakan can just go dip if she wants to. The RE pick here is to deny that RE plus Vi pick. Maybe we see something. Back in the day, like half a split ago, we would see Veigar into this. You know, I don't know why I said that.
Back in the day, half a split ago.
That contradicts itself a bit. But, you know, they would pick Veigar into this, and it was pretty nice because just RE could not play. You'd be dashing into this. And you're also pretty good into the Rakan. But probably not going to see that. But another mid pick, Vi plus Syndra. How did I forget Syndra? Syndra is phenomenal into Zeri.
Yeah, and I think it's really good for Harbo because what worked for him so well on week 1 was the Annie. It was then banned out both games week 2. An AP mage, which is going to provide your team with a little bit of pick, a little bit of engage, and has a relatively safe laning phase, which when you consider the problems that Harbo has had as a player, I think this fits very, very well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think you do have that scaling condition now because of that, you know, that Syndra rework where you do have a lot of scaling with those shards, you know, to stack up. And it's very simple, like you said, right? It's really simple. You just press R, then you press Scatter the Weak onto the Zeri, and she will get stunned. Target bans coming in now. Tanks against Kakos. I really like this. I wonder if we'll see the Poppy ban out. They don't have that many dashes, but it might just be a, you know, we don't want you playing Poppy because you keep playing it and you're very good on it. He's absolutely clapping some of the best top laners in the league with this Poppy because Poppy is just so strong right now. But still, I need to see some tanks picked up here. We have all of the bot side picked up for both teams, but tanks are super important and critical to buy space for the Zeri and this Aphelios.
So do you want to see that coming out of the support pool here for Vanir? Because you see that Lulu ban coming out from Nord, which is going to pressure the Aphelios even more. Is there still any chance that you can go to here?
Ooh, I think it's there's the Nautilus, right? So I was actually leaning towards more for the Nautilus being picked up for the side of the Vanir. I think you have some other options into the Rakan. I think you can do something like a Leona, which is also something that people used to do. Maybe you pick an Enchanter into it. Or Pike into Rakan is also a really good matchup that we see sometimes. It'd be very spicy from Garfield, though.
Yeah, and I think when you're a 1-4 team, maybe you need something a little bit spicy to knock down your opponent's Aphelios Thresh classic pairing, Aragon.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Classic pairing with the Jinx, with the Aphelios. I keep forgetting these pairings, and I don't know why. It's very frustrating, but still, really nicely picked up. Now, tanks that are up, right? Cassante, Sion. Definitely going to be a handshake of these. Has to be. Absolutely has to be. Poppy's still up. Maybe he decides to blind pick it. They blind picked it yesterday. Actually opting in for the Nocturne, which is super nice. Oh, Gragas, of course, as well. What's wrong with me? What's wrong with me today?
There's just so many champions in League of Legends. They keep making them. I can't believe it.
But still, the tank Gragas coming out buys a lot of space for that Zeri to hit. You have a really nice combination where you can knock someone up with the Rakan and then cask the immobile AD carry who's been knocked up backwards into the team comp. You can also separate the front line from the back line with that cask. I really like Gragas right now. And now for the spicy counter pick for Kitano. Kled, Olaf, Darius. Locked it in.
It's what this guy is all about. Like, this entire split, he's just playing these champions that, if they can get fed in the early game, can really take over fights. Vanir haven't been able to enable him as much as they would like, but for the Olaf here, I'm seeing a lot of setup CC that he can play with.
Yeah, absolutely. He's got a lot of setup CC. Just run over the enemy backline using the Vi knockup and the Syndra scout of the week, potentially playing off the hook as well. The big thing, though, that I'm seeing right now is both these teams are actually pretty level 6 dependent. You have potential for early lane ganks through the bot side with that Thresh and the Lantern for the Vi, but at most you're going to get one of those, and the rest of the game you're going to play for that Nocturne level 6, you're going to play for that Vi level 6, and then play off of that guaranteed setup in the mid lane of the Vi into the Syndra Scatter of the Week combination. That's what I want to see. And you have the same combo on the other side, right? Nocturne R and the Ahri to follow up.
Yeah, you both press your buttons, try and kill your opponent. And I like that we're highlighting the Nocturne R, because that Paranoia, whilst it has offensive uses, pretty good on the defense as well. If you're trying to jump on top of Hido on the side of Vanir, then not knowing what your allies are doing is going to make that a lot harder.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Nocturne definitely has those secondary uses with the ulti where you hide stuff. Very common pick right now is Nocturne plus Nico, because you hide the Nico. I can see in this game, you have Nocturne plus Rakan, and Rakan could come from Fog of War. You don't see him coming, and he's suddenly knocking up your entire team, right? I definitely think that's potential right there. But no, I think we have a fairly even draft right here. I think this could go either way.
Yeah, no, and I guess in terms of that, then where do you anticipate early pressure to be going? Because I think for Nord here, you can kind of chill a little bit more, but I think Vanir have got some tools to make things happen earlier.
Yeah, so top lane is going to be neutralized, just going lane by lane. Top lane is going to be neutralized. Gragas is insane neutralizer versus melees, everyone knows this. And of course, like later on, Olaf can do something versus the melees, but that's not going to have the action in it. It's just going to be a farm lane. Mid lane is going to be a mostly a farm lane, because you're not really going to gank it pre-6. You want level 6s first for Vi and Nocturne, and then bot lane is the main lane I'm looking at, because you have that Thresh Lantern to set up the ganks.
I was getting quite worried as we were going through there, Aragon. Nothing's going to happen. Nothing's going to happen. Nothing's going to happen. The Nexus is going to randomly explode at 35 minutes into the game. We're going to flip a coin and give one of the teams the win. I think for both these teams, this game comes at a very interesting point in the split, right? Because we've had 5 games played. This is their 6th. Final game of this round robin coming up next week. And you really need to get your season in gear now, because Vanir know from experience that trying to make a late run for the playoffs isn't always successful.
Yeah, and you can see they've been trying to develop an identity. At the very least, they have points where they're good. You know, they definitely have like these spicy top lane picks where on 13.3, top lane might become more relevant, and that might help them out in the second round robin. I think that's the format, right? You could refresh me on that. I can't remember too well, but regardless, if it becomes more of a top lane focused meta, they could definitely shine there. But they're definitely settling in this identity. I do think they're really good mid-game. So if they tunnel on that, try to minimize mistakes early game, create these like mid-game spiking compositions, I think they're good to go.
Okay, well, we'll see if they're going to be able to do that. The NLC player, Seneca, played League of Legends since he was 9 years old because his parents wouldn't let him play Battlefield.
Beautiful.
Mine were the exact same.
Me too.
By the way, the
COD, though.
exact same. Oh no, right. So I managed to sneak like a Modern Warfare 3 by them, like early on, and that was it. I think they saw me playing that a couple of times. Like, no more 18+ games, not for you.
Yeah. My mum saw me play COD World at War when my friends brought around, and she was like, "What are you doing? This is not allowed." Regardless. It's going to be a standard 5-point start for both teams right here. Nothing too spicy, no invades happening. Potential for Vanir to actually make it happen because they do have a decent level 1 with that hook and Olaf axes. Opting not to, wanting to start in that lane phase. You see a ward placed down. Both junglers going to be pathing down to bot side because, again, that top lane is pretty irrelevant. I wonder if Kitana could do something spicy here.
I mean, the Olaf is kind of disgusting at the level 1. He's not going to go for a kill, but it's enough to force indecision away from this blue buff and waste a little bit of that Nocturne's time.
No, it's not going to happen again, right? We're not going to get another cursed early game for Nord where they lose the game in their first clear. Please don't. I really, really hope not. I want to see what this team looks like when they aren't messed up in the first clear. But it does look like it's going to be fine. Going to start with our Wolves and then clear down to bots and then go back up to top side for that blue buff eventually. I really, really do like that. Okay, sorry. I was really worried for the side of Nord there.
Yeah, we could chill a little bit. Okay.
Yeah.
They're going to be absolutely fine. It does change the way that Indecision is going to have to path, though, right? Because he's going to have to kill that Grump and that blue buff eventually. So unless he ends up wasting a load of time, he's going to have to get to the north quadrant of his jungle at some point.
Yeah, he's going to clear back up top side, up to top side again, and get that blue buff, and then have to go to top side Crab. The thing is, though, I'm worried about top lane Prio. Right, Olaf does get priority into this Gragas, because Gragas just cannot compete. So maybe Olaf can push it in and secure that Crab for him. It depends how the lane is going, though. You can see that Kitana is getting the push, so potential that Nocturne might actually lose top Crab here. But again, we'll have to see how the lane state looks like at the time. This might be an invade going on here for the side of Pipipat and Vanir.
Yeah, you see there that Harbo had a little bit of prior, and actually Liam Cole and Garfield also moving into the bottom side, so really trying to ruin Indecision's days. Going to be able to clear out those Raptors, but the Nocturne being spotted at every angle.
Yeah, and it's just so much. Look at this vision, right? These wards are going to last for so long, potentially spot out the second rotation camps, and maybe they can plan for an invade later on. But what is going on with the NLC and beating up Indecision? Maybe this comes with drafting weaker level 1s, but still, it's incredibly brutal because I feel like Indecision is getting bullied every single game with this early pathing.
Really not enjoying it. Can we talk about how good that trade was from Harbo in the mid lane there? A level down on the Syndra, but still able to deal some decent damage back to Omen. And considering the issues that this guy's had in terms of lane, in terms of his ability to apply pressure, Syndra giving him a lot of the tools that he wants from providing that CC with Pipipat.
Yeah. No, honestly, you like to see it, right? Harbo has been having a bit of a rough time, but with this Syndra pick, it does look like he's found some comfort. And he's actually forced a recall from Omen. Omen has actually had to recall and not buy Lost Chapter, which is a little bit rough. I know a lot of mages these days like the 1k gold Lost Chapter. As a knockup comes through the Seneca. Nothing's going to happen there. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no, well, you said that things were going to happen in bot lane. And I like that you're sticking to your guns.
That was optimism, though. A bit of optimism.
I'd rather hope for stuff to happen than it not at all. Yeah, fairly tepid stuff. I think Indecision more shut down than anything else by Vanir, but the lane's going pretty well from them. That top lane neutralized by Katashos, like you were alluding to. The Gragas can kind of just stand in the lane.
Yeah, you don't really end up doing much. After a few points and Q, Gragas can start poking out Olaf a little bit. He never really needs to commit to an all-in. The only way Kitana can kill Gragas is if, Kakos body slams forward and Kitana presses R and doesn't get slammed and then just run down. Probably not going to happen, and what's going to happen is Kakos is just going to keep queuing, never getting frozen on. Regardless, it's just going to be power clearing. Level 7 minutes to 8 minutes is when junglers hit level 6 typically, so I am looking for that mark where the junglers hit level 6 for the action to happen.
Oh, Pipipat trying to get things started before that. It's Kitano really not enjoying laning versus Gragas, but we do have a dragon on the Rift, and Vanir making an early move towards it.
Yeah, no, this is going to slow down the levels for the vibe, but still really good pickup here. If you want to start stacking those Drakes, it's not going to be Chemtank Soul, so you are pretty happy. We'll have to see if Nord can test here, though, with Seneca Indecision moving in.
Still only level 4 on the Nocturne, matching Pipipat. Harbo going to have to flash away as Omen gets pulled by the hook. No level 6 for the Syndra as Liam Cole is also moving over. Omen with a flash forward, but he's not able to find any damage. Gets hit back by the punch in the face. PP back with first blood, and Seneca has to dash over that wall. Nord try and contest, but they're punished for it.
Yeah, a really nice hook coming out from Garfield here. I was a little bit worried for the side of Vanir because Pipibat had been tanking that dragon for a while. You can see the fight started and Pipibat was on 300 HP. I'm sure he was a little bit worried too, but some really nice CC. I'm pretty sure Omen got cancelled on his leap forward with his ultimate by Syndra Scatter the Weak, and then a hook came down, which also landed. So just really good micro coming in from Vanir in the early game. This is definitely a different look compared to what we saw yesterday and the weeks before.
Yeah, you see how much Omen actually burnt in that last fight. It wasn't just the Spirit Rush, it was the Flash as well. So when we're looking towards, I don't know, Rift Herald spawning fairly soon, maybe we're looking towards additional Drakes in the future. Lacking that Summoner spell on the Ahri massively reduces your playmaking potential. It also makes it quite hard for you to survive in the laning phase as Harbo gets the stun and gets the kill.
Where was this Harbo before? He's just gapping Omen, forcing recalls early. I was critical of Harbo. We both were, right? We were pointing out his stats, how he wasn't having a great time. I mean, I was more so. Sorry for throwing you under that bus. But now I'm really happy to see how well he's playing. Maybe he's just more comfortable on some picks than others. But again, getting the better of Omen, who has shown some good stuff too.
Yeah, and Pipibat as well. He's getting involved. He's getting things done. Indecision, making his way into the mid lane, is going to be able to get the kill. The fact that he gets that without needing to invest the ultimate, just taking over to level 6, is going to free him up a little bit more. Hido going aggressive onto Liam Cole, despite being a level down, as the rotate into the bottom side river from Indecision forces back Liam Cole and Garfield.
Yeah, you could tell that Indecision got that level 6 from that kill, and he immediately wanted to go bot side to use that ultimate. But yeah, we're going to have to see how well the first ultimate is used. Maybe he makes a pick up top side. He's going to what's probably going to happen right now, he's probably going to recall, go top side, try and find a pick in the mid lane as Kakos gets engaged on.
Yep, and this is what Kitano can do. He's going to miss out on that axe, so the CC invulnerability on the Olaf going to fall away, and Omen has made a rotate over to this top side. Does have the charm. Kitano maybe looking in base. All deception going to get thrown out. The Olaf not dead, but not enjoying life at the moment. Nord's going to commit to the dive. The shield comes up. Kachkos gets the kill.
And there's just no counterplay, is there? I really liked what Kakos did there. So for those who don't know, the Olaf ultimate actually has... I might have to hold that thought as an engage comes out from Indecision.
Yeah, I really don't know what Pipibat's doing there. Going for a dash over very deep in the enemy jungle, but is going to get caught out, dealing some fair bit of damage back, and actually buys enough time for Harbo to get the kill down onto Hido. Dare I say worth?
Potentially, if Harbo can convert this into some other leads, but it felt a little bit desperate from the side of Vanir, desperately wanting to make a cross map on that top lane dive because they'd lost someone topside, and just face-checking, running in. They're very fortunate, though, that Harbo is having a really good game and managed to one-shot the support on the way out.
Yeah, he's looking kind of scary, and when your entire composition, well, not necessarily your entire composition, but when you've got a Zeri, you want to keep her alive, and Syndra, a great champion to prevent that from happening, and Harbo in a great position to make it happen.
Yeah, and you can see that the bot lane for Vanir is a duo that I've been highlighting every single week, right? They just, for some reason, they keep doing extremely well. They were playing against Gooby for the side of Verdant, and they were just gapping them for some reason in lane, right? And at this point, I just rate them really highly in my top, in my AD carry tier list and my bot lane tier list in general. You can see that they've actually made, you know, a decent gold lead for themselves. They've got 2 plates for themselves for free in an isolated lane. That wave clear, it's pretty nuts, right?
Oh, that is absolutely disgusting. And I think Nord are going to be glad to have this sort of outlet that top lane has been, because you'd anticipate the Olaf in the matchup versus the Gragas. Yes, while he might go even, he's still going to be able to flex his muscles a little bit. That's really not what's happened. Kachkos has got a CS lead, and he was able to get that kill earlier.
Yeah, so Kachkos, I did not realize I was pronouncing that wrong. Kachkos is... yeah, he's playing extremely well. This was a counterpick Olaf for the side of Kitano, but we're not too unfamiliar with this happening, as Seneca might actually get picked here. No. But we're not too unfamiliar with Kitano falling behind early, right? We saw this versus Spuda. He fell behind, but then managed to find some god flank with the Darius. Maybe this game we'll see it again if he managed to find a flank right at a dragon or something like this. Hopefully that's what we'll see.
Yeah, it's really interesting how much pressure Vanir have been putting in the bottom side jungle of Nord. We've seen a few times. Harbo and PPVAT make aggressive moves into there, and yes, whilst one of them did result in the jungler going down, it's meant that Liam Cole and Garfield have been able to build off of that strong laning phase and taken down a fair few of these plates.
Yeah, I guess it isn't in isolation when you have so much vision backing up. I like your point, absolutely. Yeah, like from the first clear we saw, and you highlighted how many wards they'd put down on his camps. But that ultimate's coming out in the mid lane.
He's just going straight in there. Beautiful scatter of the week as Harbo knocks them back. Omen surely going to be able to pick this one up, but no! He doesn't get it with the all the deception. PPVAT doesn't pick anything up off the backside, but every time that Nocturne ult is thrown down, it doesn't get a kill. It is bad for Nord, and this is even worse. Seneca fails the flash over the wall and gives Liam Cole his first kill of the game.
And it's just an absolute disaster, isn't it? Your ultimate, your Nocturne ultimate, which is on such a long cooldown, you have to make a pick with it every single time, doesn't turn into a kill. Harbo just having the game of his life, right? I don't know what is going on, who this man is today, but he's absolutely playing incredibly well, surviving that gank, scattering the weak, and turning that into a pick onto Seneca, crucially turning that to second dragon. You know, they're not too far away from a soul now. I'd love to see Vanir close this game out cleanly.
They've been doing an excellent job, and it's comfort for Harbo, right? It was the Annie in week 1. It's looking like the Syndra here in week 3. Control mages, this man's bread and butter, doing very nicely for himself. But for Vanir, I think you need to take the lead that you've got and close out, right? You're in a very good position, not only possessing the gold lead, but those 2 stacked up Drakes as well. Bot lane tower being as low as it is, that's something that you can play towards too. The game state looks great, but it's not over yet.
Historically, though, in the past games, given we've had maybe 5 games so far now at this split, their strength is the mid game from Vanir, right? They're very good at finding flanks and finding teamfight setups before the dragon. So they're just about to approach their strongest point. I really hope they maintain that and actually manage to close out a game, because then this is the most convincing game I've had of them to maybe, like, you know, argue that they're a top 14, 4th place. It's a bit of a, you know, it's a lofty argument, but I think it's potentially there.
Well, it's the playoff run. It's how long does it take you to get good and start winning games? I think for Vanir, I think it needed to be this week, and if they can lock down a win versus Nord, we're going to be very, very impressed. But for Nord themselves, they need to put momentum together. They can't keep having these flip-flop weeks where they go 2-0 once, then 0-2 the next. Indecision has the paranoia, but he is going to be spotted out on the bot side. Yeah, he's spotted out on a ward, and you have PPVAT just ready to counter-gank with that Thresh Lantern like we highlighted early on. Doesn't look like it's going to happen, because if that goes badly, it's looking real dire. But it does look like they're going to go up through the river, potentially look for the scuttle grab, and maybe a play in mid lane. I imagine this is not going to work, though. I don't want to say that. Look where Harbo's standing. Look where he is.
Yeah, I respect it. I really respect it. Saying absolutely no risk at all.
Rift Herald going to get chucked down, and with Omen moving away, that's going to be a couple of plates into Indecision's back pocket. And actually, Nord might be able to set up for a bot lane play. They are going to be able to generate a numbers advantage as Seneca gets away from that hook, but a very smart flash from Garfield comboed with the Lantern gets Liam Cole out of there.
Yeah, crucially, Seneca just missing out on that engage. Doesn't quite find it, and then not layering it with the Nocturne ulti means that the Nocturne ult is down, and what are you going to do now? That dragon might come up as a play. Nocturne just has nothing, right? So Omen there, a bit of miscommunication too. There's no potential follow-up, even if they land the charm. And Seneca now might be dived.
Yeah, you need to get out of here if you are Nord, the Vault Breaker.
Oh.
Charging up from PPVAT, but he's not going to let it go. Indecision is here on the bottom side, and a deep TP from Nord could change the fortunes of Vanir. PPVAT is going to be able to take that over as Catchcross is engaged, is interrupted by Garfield. The flay away completely shuts down Nord, and they get nothing.
And that's a bit of a question mark, isn't it? I expected a big cast to come out, but then you look at the cooldown, it's not there. So now he doesn't have teleport for potential play at the next dragon. And the chance of that play working out was so low because of the lack of ultimate. Why would you take that? I guess now you have Omen shift towards topside to cover on that play, but realistically, you should be timing that teleport with the ultimate cooldown.
Yeah, and I think Kitano is going to try and clear out that tower. He's not going to be able to do it, but considering how well this top side was going for you, all of that time for Kitano to beat down on that tower is going to be time that you sorely regret.
No, absolutely. And Catchcross, one of his biggest tools is that sub 14-minute TP, and I guess that was post 14 minutes, but now you're just going to have to waddle back down to the dragon in a minute's time, and you're just not going to be farming for the past 2 minutes. It's a little bit rough. You can see Kachikos is a bit indecisive. He's walking through the middle of both lanes. He wants to go top lane, but dragon's up in a minute. I would be a bit indecisive too. Maybe, though, they're going to go contest that Rift Herald first, and then use that Rift Herald to secure that dragon.
I mean, it's kind of what you need to do, right? Vanir have successfully accelerated this map, taken that top lane tower, taken that bot lane tower mid. The last one left standing. And they are looking in a very good position to take their second win. 40 seconds until the Drake spawns. This is going to be Mountain Soul Point if they can grab it. Leon Cole needs to be careful. The Gale Force away in the mid lane. Seneca locked up under the tower. Vanir bait him in and take him down.
And Seneca is just not finding these crucial engages. Engaging onto a Liam Cole who flashed already. It's really, really damn brutal because it just means they're playing without a support, and Rakan is just so crucial to enabling this engage that they have for the single target damage with the Nocturne and the Ahri.
And have we seen this before? Right, Vanir just completely taking control of the bottom side jungle, whilst Indecision will try and counter on the other side for the Rift Herald. Vanir happier with how things are turning out.
Yeah, and just the big theme of this game is it's not connecting. The Nocturne is not connecting with the mid lane. The Nocturne is not connecting with the support. These engages aren't there for the Nocturne to follow up on, or the Nocturne isn't going in first either. Regardless, the synergy isn't there to play these kinds of compositions where you go on the first target you see, as Katana might be picked here.
Does have the ult and is level 11 with the Ravenous Hydra, so the Olaf can do some very, 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 very dirty things, but he's not going to be able to.
Harbo?
As Nord shut him down. Harbo a little bit isolated here. Have Vanir thrown this one away? Oh my word, the unleashed power onto Omen is absolutely magnificent, but the charm will shut down the Syndra. Both solo laners dropping off the board for Vanir.
That's absolutely gut-wrenching, isn't it? You take a blast cone over, suddenly you're in the face of a jungler. Katano, he just suddenly appeared there, and now you get a second charge off of this Rift Herald, which is the worst case scenario. Someone could just go top lane now. Maybe you shadow the Ahri with the Nocturne, and you just auto that a few times and get a free 600 gold injection, right? That was a bad throw. I won't lie, that was probably one of the worst things I've seen from Vanir this game, but still, not the end of the world. You're one dragon away from Soul. In 4 minutes' time, just get strong for that, and hopefully they could still secure it and win this game.
Vanir fans, calm down, okay?
Yes.
You've put yourselves into very good positions before in this split. You haven't been able to make it work. Make another play like that, then Nord are right back into a game that, by all rights, they shouldn't have a chance in.
Crucially, Indecision has 3 kills now, right? He's almost at his Black Cleaver and his 2-item spike. He is a lot of damage in this burst focus composition. And Kitano just isn't having that great of a game. So you have an avenue here, right? They are playing kind of 5v4 because of how far behind Kitano is. If they execute this composition, I do think Nord has a chance. But it's all about getting knocked into the second item right now. How efficiently can you farm? Can you make it there before 3 minutes time at that Dragon Pit?
Yeah, and well, when you go there, you're going to have to contend with a kind of unsung hero for Vanir this game. Garfield on the Thresh has had some wonderful death sentences, some excellent plays thwarting that bot lane TP from Kachikos, and whilst the map is fairly even, I think it would be a lot more Nord favoured if this Vanir support hadn't had a game like this.
Yeah, I definitely do think there's a support gap going on right now. You highlight Seneca and his attempted engages. They just really aren't going well, and maybe it's a rookie kind of thing, because Seneca is a rookie, I believe. But Garfield, yeah, you know that dragon fight down bot side in the river, that hook and the flay onto the engages? I just think that was so phenomenal. Yeah, Garfield putting on a clinic, but how will he execute in the next coming fights? Nothing else matters this game.
Nothing at all, and Hino, 2 items now on the Zeri. That timer ticking away. Once she gets that Titanic Hydra, it's very, very difficult to deal with her in the team fight. She doesn't have a Lulu alongside her, but still, it's going to be a tough task to take her out.
Yeah, hopefully going to make it tanky enough to tank that that instant, single target burst combination of the Syndra and the Vi. Very, very potent with that Scatter the Weak. Means that Zeri just cannot be as mobile as she would like to be. You can see it's just a lot of posturing right now, right? Topside vision incredibly important as the teleport flank comes out.
This is bold from Nord. I'm not sure this is going to be spotted out. Indecision going for an engage. Omen coming over the wall. The Nocturne is already dead, but the explosive cast completely splits the fight. Vanir retreating under their tower. 1 for 1.
Yeah, and it just looks so poor right at the start. They're all under tower. Indecision goes in under tower and gives away a bounty, sure, but then Kashkos with that beautiful cast turns the entire thing around. I do wonder if that was a bit over eager, right? You could see when the engage happens, watch where Omen is. He's so far away that the immediate charm cannot follow up. There's no immediate follow-up damage. By the time they connect, Indecision's already dead. Fortunately, though, they have a superhero in Kashkos' cast. That was really hard to say.
That's no, I'm impressed that you even went for that. Like, that's
Kashkos' cast. Say that 3 times quick.
I'm not even gonna try. And Kitano's gonna appreciate the fact that he got some of the shutdown gold there.
Yeah.
Kind of been starved this game, and if it gets him towards that second mythic item, that could be really important when you consider that Mountain Soul is spawning in a minute.
Yeah, Mountain Soul is spawning in a minute. I'd expect some vision to go down. It does look like what Nord might do is try and set up some vision around topside Baron. I wonder if we're going to get some shenanigans around the Baron rush compared to giving up that Dragon Soul. But it's Soul. You can't give over Soul in this meta. Soul is too broken, especially Mountain Soul.
Yeah, and when you look at what Nord want to do, they want to dive on top of Nord. They want to be jumping on these guys, and if they're just that little bit tankier, it's a lot harder to do. Not only Kitano PP back going to be strong, but Liam Cole as well. You can't ignore the resistances.
Yeah, getting that vision down on the Baron, maybe they're scared of Vanir actually swapping out the Baron for that Dragon as Seneca with the dodge. Such on a knife's edge, isn't it? The engages are so close.
Yeah, and the thing is, those teams have plenty of them. Liam Cole with the stopwatch could prove crucial. That item has changed team fights dramatically as PP Bat maybe has gone over aggressive, but he's going to bait in and engage from Nord. Massive from Seneca into the backline, takes down Liam Cole. There's no time for him to press the stopwatch, and Hino is going to be able to clean up. 4 kills for Nord, a triple for their ADC. They've got the Baron, they've got the Drake to take.
And it's just absolutely beautiful, isn't it? For once, they connect the full combination. Indecision doesn't ult immediately. He presses R, then waits for everyone to be in range, and it all connects at the exact same time. Indecision goes in, the cast goes in, and then Ori and Seneca goes in at the exact same time. Have a look at this. I believe Seneca starts it up.
Just that engage onto the backline. Oh. Massive knock-up, and there's nothing that Liam Cole can do.
And this is exactly what I wanted to see, right? Because so much of the current day meta is about layering your CC, and they finally get to pull it off after, failing it time and time again with that, for example, the mid lane under tower dive, but they get so much gold injected onto Hiddo, their prime carry, this Zeri, who you highlighted is going to get that Titanic Hydra. He's pretty darn close to it, and then how do you burst him out, right? It's going to be incredibly difficult.
Very, very difficult. That's the sort of question that you leave on the exam paper after go, yeah, I'll do that one at the end. But I love the way that Nord are using this combo of the Nocturne. The visioned Nard from Indecision meant that they didn't know where Seneca was coming from. They couldn't see the Rakan go for the engage. It looks absolutely broken, and if Nord can execute that one more time, they can really get themselves back into this game and claim control.
Yeah, claiming control of this topside river as well right now. Potentially going to start. You say claiming control. I see they are winning now. Look at Hiddo. I do think that they would just win any fight right now, assuming that Seneca doesn't bot any more engages. But you can see they're posturing. Vanir is definitely scared of a Baron style right now.
Omen pushing out, cheating towards the top side waves. Generally in favor of Nord as bot lane is also shoving in. Vanir fighting for the mid lane priority to give them a rotate over. Maybe if they can find a snap engage onto Nord whilst they're split, they can keep this game alive. But I'll have to agree with you, Aragon. It does feel like Nord are the team and understand what's going on and are playing the game the way that they want to.
Yeah, quickly, look at bot lane. Look at that wave. Nord, Vanir on time and Nord are not, so they're super comfortable. Nord are just absolutely super comfortable just standing mid lane here whilst Vanir bleed out gold. That's got to be 500 gold down in bot side that they've just lost, as well as tower damage.
Resources denied, but Vanir will stand strong to their guns. I'm not going to lie, teams. One of you should probably engage on the other fairly soon. Kashkos maybe going to have an opportunity there on the Gragas. Not going to find it. Hook is going to come out. Not too sure if that's connecting. I think that just missed onto Omen.
Oh, I was holding my breath there, I won't lie.
I was so worried. I was so worried.
I still am. But it does look like the recalls are being channeled. The teams are done posturing, now probably run out of wards and are too afraid to keep staying. You can see they're refreshing their wards now. I imagine a bunch of pinks are going to be picked up now, but side lanes don't matter this game. The engage is too damn strong, right? If you send your top laner down in side lane, if you send your mid lane down side lane, someone engages and your team dies, it's not worth collecting that side wave. I imagine that's the idea behind it, but still, Vanir are bleeding out resources. That entire standoff, Vanir did come off worse for it.
Yeah, but just feeling sort of the need to stand strong there and not wanting to split up, because last game we were on the verge of a potential upset before one overstep from a member of Domino was enough for them to sort of capitalize on and bring them back in. Vanir don't want to go down without a fighters now. It's them securing the vision around the Baron and Hido.
Ooh, Hido.
Oh, a little bit isolated. Try as a wall.
I wonder if he knew. I wonder if he knew. That was so close, right? You could tell that it was so darn close to being engaged on. They even popped the Shurelias. Looks like the engage is not going to come out. And now Nord view this as a window to get vision for themselves.
Oh, Seneca taken low. PP back going over the wall, but not committing the cease and desist onto the Rakan. Hido has hit 3 items. The Trinity Force, the Runans, the Titanic Hydra Aragon. They are all there.
Yeah, we really are getting an NA run. PP Bat has no Q, but he's lanterned out to safety. I was a little bit scared there because he wouldn't be able to get out on his own. Mid prior for Nord in this standoff. Will they find an engage? Ghost pop for Kitano.
He wants it. Omen throwing out the charm and the Q. Finding a target with neither. That's a couple tools down here. Nord walking forward. Lantern again. Just ensuring that Vanir can step that little bit too far forward, but always get out.
You can see the desperation in Kitano trying to force the engage. This is something he does pretty frequently, popping the Ghost to try and force a fight. I'm actually not a big fan of it, because if you do not force a fight, you do not get the value out of the Ghost resets, and now you don't have Ghost for a potential fight unless it's secure. Definitely going to happen.
Omen, jumped on 2! But Vanir not going to be able to find damage onto Seneca. The Ari. PP Bat still alive in the backline. His indecision is buying time before the vibe will die. And here comes Hido, completely untouched, completely overpowered. The health bars of Vanir not going to fall in the Zeri's favor, but Nord really happy with how the game is going.
And after 5 minutes of posturing, an engage happens. Nord, like you said, super happy how that goes, but that could have gotten so much worse for Vanir. That laser was so close to being an instant double kill, but they managed to part at the last second. I hope we get a replay of how that fight happened, because I didn't even catch it.
Absolutely incredible stuff. Nord could be able to pick up their second Drake of the game. Of course, for them, Soul is a win condition that they're probably not going to be playing towards this game unless things go really, really late. But for Vanir, it's another game that is looking like a case of what could have been.
So let's see how this engage starts. I believe someone gets engaged on. Is it Omen overstepping a little bit? You could tell how desperate Vanir is with the scatter the weak. And then, oh, okay, so I understand what happened now. I believe the jungler for Vanir just missed out on that Q flash onto Omen. If that happens, if that connected, maybe Omen falls and the whole fight looks different. But you could see, when there are no threats left, Hido is just unleashed.
It's the Indecision's health bar there as well.
I actually didn't catch it. How low did it get?
It did quite low, quite a lot. It was really sort of like right to the wrongs, I think, of this not in the early stages. Had a couple of hiccups, but he's been getting these fights started well. And he's been finding picks for Nord, more importantly. No prizes for guessing what blue side team want to take off the rift next. Baron going to be the focus.
I don't know how many minutes we've had both these teams just staring at each other for, but it feels like the majority of the game by now. It really does feel like an NA RAM, doesn't it? I wonder if they'll actually start up the Baron by now, because they can use the Baron to, starting the Baron to force an engage with that Seneca engage and that Nord, but maybe they don't want to take the free damage as a charm connects. Don't think it'll matter, though.
Yeah, Kitano, not really the target that you need to be prioritizing. It's Harbo on the Syndra. 5-2-1. Looking amazing. Omen caught out by the hook, but Vanir not overcommitting onto the mid laner. Brilliant double charm from Seneca as Harbo is taken off the board. Liam Cole being played onto by Indecision as Hido once more untouched, but Liam Cole, Gale forcing forward, trying to use all 200 years of the Aphelios, but Hido's champion was in the oven for at least 1,000 as Nord win out on the fight, only losing Seneca and move over to the Baron.
Yeah, and it's just Hito and Liam Cole versus each other. What happens when all the threats are gone? What happens when all the CC is gone and the spells are down? Well, you just see a standoff, right? Liam Cole tries to do that flamethrower, but the fight starts with this beautiful barrel from Kachkos and funneling Harbo into the team, and Harbo just not finding the right engages. Yes, they force a stop push, but after that, look at Hito. He's just unleashed because there's nothing. And you can see Liam Cole try desperately with the R into the Q and the massive AoE from the Flame Spitter, but it's just not enough.
Really, really rough start. If Liam Cole had this third item on the Aphelios when he went for that fight, maybe there was a chance, but
yeah,
doesn't look like he's going to be able to. And for Nord now, they're kind of at a weird spot because they are in the lead with the Baron, but it's a little bit later than they would have liked. So these towers in the towards the base of Vanir are going to be a lot harder to take down than they'd like.
Yeah, crucially, Nord actually missed out on that local gold top side, assuming they didn't take it, because that is local gold, right? If the minions took it, then they missed out on it, but they are going to go for this bot side. Hopefully they take it and actually get some of this, because this amount of gold is really nuts, right? It's non-trivial. It snowballs you potentially get your item earlier. Look at that gold pop. And now, maybe playing for the mid lane, you have TP up for Oman. No, you don't, actually, so this might just be the end of the siege.
Yeah, I mean, they've still got a couple minutes left of that Baron, so could always opt for a re-engage, but this Drake Soul constantly been hanging over Nord's head. I think it's been worrying them less and less as the game has gone on, and they found themselves in stronger and stronger positions. But if Vanir somehow do get a Mountain Soul, they are not so far behind that they don't have a chance to come back in.
Yeah, no, absolutely. If they get this Mountain Soul, then everything changes, right? Kachkos, though, I want to highlight, because his barrels are phenomenal. They're MVP material right now, knocking those immobile carries right into the waiting arms of Indecision, Oman, and Seneca. I think he is playing phenomenally, and Liam Cole and Harbo have to pay real attention to not getting chain CC'd into those barrels, because it is game deciding right now. Every single fight so far has been sided by Kachkos.
Great stuff from the Nord top laner. The veteran on this roster leading from the front, making plays happen and setting up the rest of his team to dish out the damage. He's going to be caught there, but the Gragas, oh so slippery, can body slam out of there. Mid lane tower falling down, and so for Vanir, the last structures remaining in their base, but they need to get into this river if they want to contest that Drake.
Yeah, how do you move into the river here? Just force the engage, just pull it.
Hito jumps over the wall, but the knockup is going to come through from Seneca. The bot lane of Nord has been ripped off of Summoner's Rift. And the TP from Kachkos reminding us a little bit too much of that TP in the bottom lane. He's not going to be able to get too much for it, but surely with a numbers advantage, this is sold to Vanir.
Yeah, no, absolutely it's going to be Salt of Vanir. You see, Indecision might try to steal it, but Hito thinks he's safer than he is, and it's just highlighting why Vi is so damn good into Zeri. Oh, the hook.
Was that blind? Was that blind?
It might
Didn't have vision on Omen. He's going to flash away. Harbour comes back over the wall. Dragon has been completely disengaged as Vanir find more members of Nord to slaughter. Kachkos body slamming out of there. They don't care about him too much. If they can get this Drake, they've got a soul, and there is no contest from Nord.
And what just happened? Everything off the back of the Hito pick, but it's an absolute disaster for Nord, as Garfield might land another hook and he went the other way. But Kakos didn't realize that he's cancelled his recall. He might be dead now.
Yes, I think he is.
Look at those shields.
It's really, really gross, right? Mountain Soul, very, very powerful. I mean, he's wasting time, which is fundamentally the right thing to do in this situation. Shutdown goes over to Harbour, as he's dropped over to 3 items on the Syndra.
Maybe it's still possible if they isolate the targets again with those beautiful barrel casts, but I think it's like an uphill battle right now, right? Those shields are going to be the difference maker. Liam Cole is now extremely fed, 4 items completed, actually the exact same tier as Zeri right now, minus the stopwatch, and we highlighted how strong Zeri was, but just showcasing that on Zeri, you are not as safe as you think. Ulting the Zeri out of her E over that wall just snowballs immediately, so props to PPBat managing to find the engage.
Yeah, killer instinct, I think, from Vanir, which is maybe the thing that they were lacking, right? The ability to get into these game states and actually close it out. We're 35 minutes in. Aragon, I don't know who wins this.
I think it's incredibly close. right? From a pure execution perspective, I think Nord has been edging out, but now can that execution, you know, that minor execution edge out, can that really overcome the Mountain Soul? I think Mountain Soul is incredibly potent here for either team, because either team is very burst predicated on, right? Both of them really want to burst out their targets, and the resistances make that oh so much harder. Then just take a look at the stopwatches as well. Harbo and the Vi now, they are going to commit to this one last fight.
Yeah, and provided that they kill Hido in it, it would look like certain victory for Vanir, although I'm sure very far from the case. It's disgusting, really.
It really is. As he does try to face check. If he does face check and isolates himself, maybe there's an angle here.
Seneca caught! Oh, he's just one shot! He's just one shot again! It's the bottom lane from Nord getting caught out. With Baron in 40 seconds, Vanir, they could go for that, or they could look for a little bit of a siege.
And it's all on Hido right now, right? This cask won't do anything but part them, and they will just regroup afterwards. Oman is doing no damage to Kitano. Absolutely nothing at all. Hido's the only one with enough potential DPS to cut through them with that Black Cleaver and all the AoE that it gives. Maybe at this next Baron fight, if they find something, some kind of cask, maybe Vanir blow all their CC onto the wrong target, then Hido can be unleashed.
I think if Seneca can go into the backline as well, right? He's had a couple of those engages himself this game. Grand entrance with the quickness, a classic combo on the Rakan, one that has won a lot of games in this past. Teleport actually here from Nord. So Omen trying to go for a really deep flank on the top side, but if Vanir can find an engage here, then Nord are guaranteed to be outnumbered. That was risky business, but it's going to offer an additional option to the blue side team.
I think Vanir have a choice now. They have no idea where he is, so you've got to just go one way or the other, go onto one of the flanks. But yeah, again, they don't realize. So if they accidentally walk into Harbo here, or Oman here, it might be really risky.
PP Bat opening up onto Catch. They're going to be diving onto Hido. Cease and Desist is going to catch out the Zeri as she's kiting away from Olaf on the backline. But look at this, Nord diving onto the squishy carries of Vanir. Indecision going to pop into that GA, and Nord are winning out on the fight. Vanir are running backwards, but Garfield with a very clutch hook means that Hido will drop down and Liam Cole can dish out the damage. That looked very, very bad for Vanir, but they turn it around.
Yeah, and you can see all the tools were used on to Hido, but he survived. And then you're just thinking, wait, Nord can win this, but Liam Cole, on the other hand, is untouched. And crucially, in these fights where everyone is clumped together, Liam Cole has the flamethrower, managed to find the big 5-man Infernum, and you can see how this fight starts. Kakos actually gets engaged on.
Yeah, and honestly, I thought this was a little bit too far here from Vanir, chasing too far for the ADC as Nord turned it around, but that Aphelios never went down.
Yeah, and you can see none of the CC is actually going onto Liam Cole. Look at him, he's untouched right now. I don't think he's hit. I think he's been hit by one auto by Indecision this entire time, and they're beautiful 5-man AoE, but still, the shield hasn't been broken. And only now does he get hit, but the CC from Indecision, he drops before the fear lands, and Kakos falls in the end too.
Clean stuff coming out from Vanir. That man in the bot lane. The perennial Aphelios of Liam Cole coming up good.
Oh, he's got a GA. How are you going to kill him?
Maybe not. Maybe not, as it turns out. Aragon, a minute to go until Elder.
Yeah, a minute to go. This is the last hope for Nord. If Nord get this, I do think there's a way. They might have enough damage with these executes. You could see, Hido is looking for a bit more gold. Maybe with these camps, he can recall and quickly buy a GA. But he is on a timer. With that Elder Drake spawning up right now, they really need to get into this pit, but I don't know if they'll make it inside 30 seconds. They've got so much control now. Look at the vision.
Yeah, if I'm Nord, I do not want to be face-checking into a Vi, into a Sinja, right? That is just being exploded no matter who you are.
Yeah, and you can see they're super late because Hido's only just got out of base now. He does have that GA, like I was saying, and now they're going to have to face-check. Seneca is probably the best champion to face check here. Catch cost is still really squishy. Seneca's super mobile, but even still, they're slowly moving in. They're actually managing to move in. They're not. Vanir are opting not to hold the line, and Nord are finding angles to walk in there. Oh, the TP.
Oh, another one coming out here from Nord as Catch cost makes his way to the bottom side. Not really been able to get around the side of Vanir as they are DPSing down this Elder fairly decisively. Dropping to 7,000 HP. Indecision is in range if he wants to go for a steal. Harbo getting us on the top side. Omen into that stopwatch as Vanir are engaging on the other part of the river. Omen finding a little bit of access, but Liam Cole is godlike. Both AD carries slaying the enemy top lane as the Ahri still dancing around the back end of this fight. Hido, full HP.
And it's just both AD carries are versing each other right now. They're both full build, both being dove by the by the front line of the enemy team, and they're both just surviving. So I can't wait to see how these fights pan out, but I don't think Elder's on the table right now.
Trade of cooldowns not really favorable enough to either team for them to want to full commit. Omen flashing up the wall that misses! Oh, the charm goes completely wide. Harbo burning the Zhonya's. That is big.
That is crucial. That stopwatch could be the difference maker here in letting Indecision land and engage as Nord started up.
No way, no way, no way. Vanir, surely you need to know that this is going on, the DPS.
Watch the TPs.
Not too much from Nord as they are starting it up. The winner of this fight is going to be the winner of this game. Omen on the flank, PP back, catching Seneca in the pit, forcing that grand entrance defensively. Both top laners making their way over, neither with TP. 4 for 4 for now.
You can see all eyes on Hido and Liam Cole. They are the only players that matter right now. Both frontliners will dive the backline, but who will survive and who will out DPS in the end?
Oh, it looks like Omen has been caught on the side. Going to be stunned, pulled back in by the death sentence and dead. The Ahri slain, no flash to get ourselves away. And in a 5v4 situation, Vanir are emboldened to enter the river. Nord, they want to win, they need to find something here. You can't give over the Mountain Soul and the Baron and the Elder over to Vanir. Yes, they're in last place, but this is a damn good League of Legends team. And Seneca feels how good they are with that death. Retreats coming away from Nord as they've got 2 bodies in the cemetery, and Vanir will claim the Elder.
And it's an absolute disaster, isn't it? Elder Drake, you feel like just puts the nail in the coffin here. You could see how good that was from Vanir because they opted to go on one of the flanks. I do think if that fight lasted a little bit longer, if both teams postured a little bit longer, look at that top wave, they would have been an on-timer. Vanir would have been an on-timer, which is why they opted for an immediate engage onto one of the flanks. Unfortunately, Omen does get caught and then the waves don't matter. They secure Elder Dragon. Now is only a question of how they'll use it.
Yeah, I mean, you can push this, right? But you do have a slight bit of overlap with the Baron spawn timer. And I mean, if you get everything at this point into the game, there isn't anything that Nord should be able to do.
Yeah, your only hope now is to wave clear and stall out this Elder, but, you know, that's always a kind of a fragile win condition because you're so scared. Look, he's even ulting to wave clear right now. Just, you do not want the enemy team to barrel down as 5 people because they can even tower dive you, right? The GA's keeping him alive, but if you fall to a GA right now, you're going to respawn and die anyway. Cannon's still alive, though.
I mean, Hido doesn't even have that flash, so if Vanir can make this work, it could be crucial. Seneca explodes to absolutely nothing as Hido is kiting back like his life depends on it because it absolutely does, but he's not going to stay alive. Vanir marching forward under the Nexus Towers. Kashkos able to get some kills back, and they are fumbling the bag, but they've still got it in their grasp. Those GAs absolutely clutch as Vanir are going to push for the end.
Yeah, and you can see that the siege is still continuing, right? Hido crucially does not have GA now, so if anything lands, Hido is just going to be blown up.
Omen cut down by the Elder buff, and Vanir turn it on in week 3. Double stun from Harbo. Great stuff from every single member of Vanir as they take down Nord in 43 minutes and grab their second win of the splits.
And you really thought this game was going the side of Nord?